Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Mr. Nor 14, and this is pretty much a follow-up, a day 2 first impression or second impression of the Blink XT outdoor indoor security camera. Now, as I mentioned, this is the one with HD. This is the one that has the infrared vision. This is the one that's 1080p. This is the one that you can have indoor, outdoor. It's the one that also has the light to come on to show you when you're recording something. You can shut that off. I mean, this is supposed to be the granddaddy caddy of all the Blink cameras for the simple fact, like I said, outdoor, indoor. As hot as 120 and as cold as -4 degrees. And I live in the great Midwest, so yes, I am going to really stretch this system and see how good it is. So this is my second full day with it. This is the camera I got yesterday, so I got a whole day so far with one of these cameras. And excuse me, my first impression is that they did a nice job, but they still got a lot of work to do with this camera because it's very sensitive. I mean, even if you pretty much take the sensitivity pretty much down to 1, this thing is still very sensitive. And I'll go into that a little bit later on the impressions. But like I said, I already did an unboxing. This is the one that came yesterday. This is the one that's at my front door. And I'll show you some pics from that. This is my other camera. And it just came today. So I did an unboxing yesterday. So I'm not going to go through all that again. But for some of you people who just want to go through that again a little bit, voila. There it is. That's how it looks. Let's tilt it a little bit so you can get a better look at it. So that's pretty much how it is, jet black. We'll take a look inside of it to give you an idea of some of the features inside. What I didn't go into a lot yesterday is that this thing is sealed for the weather so that, rain and other things can't get into it. So it's really hard to open this thing from the back, So I'm just going to quickly set that there, let you view it, take a look at it. But what I'm really going to do, we'll leave that off right about there, is show you the app. It pretty much has the same features as the previous model, the one that's not indoor outdoor, the regular XT. But just to give you some perspective, this is how it looks at my front door. Now I had to tilt it all the way down like that because, like I said, this thing is super sensitive. Now it's on right now. So just to show you a few more of the features, as you can see, I named it front door. The battery indicator says okay. Remember, they changed that with the latest update of 1.83. It used to just have a colored battery that was green, but now it says okay. And as I said in the previous video, it did not work. But these are pretty much the settings I have for it. The motion detection is enabled. It's outside, so I always want it on. The retrigger, it came default at 30. The sensitivity came to 5, which is at, and the clip length was only 5. Let me tell you, that's not enough for outside. So I had to give it an extra 5. You might even have to go up to 15 seconds. You can also have this feature to help the battery life. It's called In Clip Early. If motion stops, that's a waste of time. I don't even know why they added that, but they said they needed it. And all this other illuminator stuff is really for the old camera because this is infrared. So, night vision. The audio is enabled. You can hear, but you can't. You can hear, but you can't say anything to anybody. That would have been a really cool feature to have on this camera, since it is at the front door. Now this right here just tells you that it's getting a Wi-Fi signal of 3, which is what it really needs, and the sync module is getting full 5 bars there. So it's running great as far as the sync module, but it needs a little help there with the Wi-Fi signal. I was hoping that the beamforming on my router would help that, because it usually, if I'm in the same place with my phone, I'm getting full bars because of the beamforming. And that basically is as if you have a router. It's not, usually routers, old routers blasted the signal out. So if you was there, you got it. Now it sends it directly to that device. So that's what I was hoping that it would do with the camera. Now the issues I've been having with the camera, let me go into, these are all the false positives that this camera did. Now I started at 5:37 a.m. in the morning with just false hits, and so I tried the sensitivity, I tried moving the camera, and as you can see, there's really nothing there to have. It's just the wind blowing, nothing crossing it, nothing at all. So just think of having that every 5 minutes is going off. So you're trying to sleep, just get a little bit more rest before the work day start. And it did that all the way up until 7:30. Then for some apparent reason, it just stopped at 7:30 and didn't come till about 30 minutes later. And it just did it 3 more times throughout the day. It stopped at 10:27 where it stopped giving false signals. So this would be nice if it had some type of learning mechanism, like in most smart cameras over the web, to know, be smart enough to know if it didn't see anything to not go off all the time. But this camera is not smart. So, I mean, it's smart, but it's not a smart camera in a way that it would learn from the cloud of what it's looking at and to know the difference between things. I hope they can do that at some point. But right now it's just really, if you cross the sensor, and it could have been a piece of paper, but it did it like 15 times. As you can see, all those times it did that, and it was doing it at 5-minute increments. So that's the only bad thing I have to say about the camera, is all the times that, it literally just went off and gave false readings. I mean, let's just randomly pick one. Nothing's happening. The camera's moving, but nothing is there. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I had to deal with all night. It's oversensitivity. And even when I'm taking the sensitivity off, I'm still getting all these false positives. So I'm like, I know they tested it, but they tested for these false positives that this is getting. So that's the only real issue right now that I have. The mailman came to deliver the camera. It noticed the mailman today. It picked him up. So I knew when to go get the package. So I was really excited about that. But it's just the false positive readings from this. Now the camera that I have in the house, they're perfect. So that's why I don't understand what's going on with this model, that it's not recognizing things, because it knew the difference between my pets, my birds. It didn't go off all the time in the house, It like barely went off. You literally had to be walking. For a time I had so many bad camera models, I literally had to walk up on it, for it to go off. But with this one, it is really, the XT is really, really sensitive. So I'm really having a problem with that. And I'm thinking it's the time of day. It seems like sunset and dusk are the times when I get the majority of the false readings. So like I said, I'll keep an eye on that and check all that out for you. But something that I did want to show you with this, and I mean, this is a maze to get this out the box and all this other stuff. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. I wanted to show you inside of it. Because a lot of people are going to be asking the question, you know, hey, Mr. North 14, how do you stop the little light from shining and alerting people that they're being recorded if you want to take that out? Now this is a monster to unlock right here, because this is air sealed and it keeps the air out, so you really have to push down on this and fight this to take it off because of that airtight seal. As you can see, that now that I'm not scared about breaking it, you know, but last night it took me up to 5 minutes. So just the people out there, make sure that you push this back down and you close that seal so that it's airtight so no rain gets back in it. But the thing is, what I wanted to show everyone is this right here. It's a little switch in here. And this is how you turn. It's funny, it came very dusty. It's this little light comes on and turns green when it's recording. If you want to turn that off in this model, before you put this back on and seal this mug again, because you're not going to want to do it afterwards. You want to come here, switch that to off, and that will turn that little green light off, and people won't know with this model that they're being recorded. And this is great for outside, because I want this thing to be like, you know, really concealed and not really have to worry about anything. But like I said, the installation was real quick. Once I put the batteries in, I put the code number in, and voila, this bad boy was up and working with the system. Now all I got to do is tomorrow just find where I want to place it, put a screw in the excuse me, put a screw in the wood, and set it up. So I hope you guys like this second impression about my first 2 full days with the XT. And like I said, right now, I mean, it's a great camera. It's wireless. It pretty much can move it anywhere in my home and outside my home. Like I said, it's a nice feature with that airtight seal in the back. But it's going to be rough getting it off. Don't be scared you won't break it or anything, because it's no latches like the white one. Okay, it's an airtight seal that's keeping that shut, so make sure you shut that back really tight. Make sure that it's closed and that airtight seal is back on there, or you will get this puppy wet and it will tear up. Again, it has a 1-year warranty. It's indoor outdoor, so you won't be voiding your warranty. They come now, like I said in the first video, with the lithium batteries that they tell you to purchase from Amazon, when those cheap batteries that they used to give you ran out, and they claim this will run about 2 years. But with it being outside in the cold and the heat, don't expect to get no 2 years from this. Be lucky if you get 6 to a year, really, to be honest with you. So always keep an eye on these cameras. Like I said, they got a new system with the OK, so hopefully that worked, because that battery they had didn't work. Like I said, all my cameras in my home pretty much failed, and I wasn't warned with the battery indicator. They were dead, and the battery indicator said they still had life or half the life. One of them did at the end. So I'm thinking that's why they changed that to OK, because it wasn't doing a good job the way they had it set up, and I still don't think they fixed it. So hopefully they did, but if not, oh well. Just check your stuff and make sure everything is good. Like I said, this is my second outdoor camera here. The first one I've had for 2 whole days. Hooked it up yesterday morning. First thing I got it. And like I said, the only issues is that it's really sensitive. And it doesn't matter if you take the sensitivity down or you make sure the camera's not facing the street or something. I mean, if something blew or the wind or the sun shone, every 5 minutes I was getting alerted that something was there when it wasn't. So hopefully they can do some more tests and better tune these and send some updates out with their being better tuned. So that's my only issue right now. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is Mr. North 14. I'm out. I'm really enjoying my XT camera. So don't get me wrong. It's just I'm telling you what you might have an issue with. Nor out.